If there are two categories that people fit manga and anime in, it's new gen and the old gen. The definitions are pretty self-explanatory that depending on the serialization list, some series might go from new to old gen, while other rising series will be considered new gen series. Believe it or not, My Hero Academia and Black Clover are no longer considered new gen series. This is primarily due to both stories being within their final sections and their animes finally reaching their limits for how much longer they will be around. The exciting thing about all of this, however, is that there will always be something new to look forward to, especially within Shonen Jump. In the past year or so, we have had plenty of new series that have made a significant first impression. From Rui Dragon to Akane Banashi, all sorts of new generation series have been taking the stage and even providing something new within the genre of shonen itself. However, at the core of shonen, we have that battle action hype that keeps on giving to the conversation. From last year's Anime Expo and beyond, there have been a good amount of announcements of upcoming new gen anime, and if you are insane like me, you stayed up each night to make sure not to miss them. In case you haven't heard though, today I wanted to talk about all the upcoming new gen shonen anime that you definitely aren't going to want to miss. All of these series I do keep up with, and I feel will play a huge part in the next wave for shonen fans to get attached to a new story. Of course, their airing dates are not finalized yet, but we do know that each of these are in production. So to kick this off, let's begin with a story of what happens when Saitama quits being a hero and decides to attend a school full of magic. The magic genre of anime has always had its hit or misses for me personally. On one hand, you can have the type of series that embraces both the heart and cruelty of magic, while other series are just way too forgiving altogether. Masha is a new gen manga that pretty much capitalizes on the main character being so physically strong that he's able to compete as a wizard regardless of him having no magic. The end goal, to become one of the greatest around in order to eliminate the discrimination of those who are magicless. Its strong point, however, being its goofy implementation of comedy. Many people have described this series as an overall gag manga, and while I do think that's part of the description, Masha does have its pretty serious moments to the point where you kind of forget just how much humor is in the story. This is going to be an anime that people are not going to have to worry about thinking too hard on it or deeping it more than what it really is. It's a story that prides itself with the blend of action and comedy, and it more than accomplishes its goal. I feel like this is gonna be a case of you either like it or you don't, as subjective humor really comes into play. Nevertheless, if you are somebody that tends to enjoy comedy and action, then this is an upcoming anime that you aren't going to want to miss. Masha will be produced by A1 Pictures and will be airing in 2023. One of the biggest staple ideas in Japan are without a doubt kaiju and the massive colossal fights that may come with it. The most notable movie franchise that comes to mind is Pacific Rim and its robotic take on the fight against kaiju. When you think about it, however, there have not really been any shonen manga that have brought this idea to live in a really new way till now. Kaiju No. 8 is a current ongoing bi-weekly series in Jump that brings the love for kaiju slaying to the front with an all-new way to approach the fight. In this story, the Defense Force fight against kaiju by weaponizing kaiju cells and fibers into suits that allow them to have enhanced physical abilities. The increased feats are based on what percentage of the suit's power they are able to bring out over the course of the series. This can also tie into how hard they hit or how powerful their gunshots are as well. The cliche here being our main character Kafka has a kaiju living within him after a cleanup accident one night, resulting in the ability for him to transform into a kaiju and access all sorts of abilities as well. This is pretty much as close as you're gonna get to the trope of using the enemy's power for humanity's sake. Just like Masha, this series is pretty straightforward and plays a lot more into the shonen tropes rather than it being seen as a gag series. However, I will add that the cast is overall very charming when it comes to everyone's personalities, motivations, and even their pursuit to stronger heights. This is going to be an anime that just keeps on giving the action and will allow people to enjoy all the colossal fights that fit with the description of kaiju. If you are a fan of these types of fights or even have some interest given the power system, this is for sure going to be one of your favorite animes to come out. On top of this, it has been reported that Studio Kara will be handling the monster designs. This studio has been behind the designs within the Evangelion movies as well as Shin Godzilla and Shin Ultraman. So if by chance you know what this means, then you best believe you should be very excited. Kaiju No. 8 will be produced by Production IG and will be airing in 2024. A huge captivating point for shonen fans have sometimes been the fundamentals of a power system. Series like Hunter x Hunter and JoJo's have been heavily regarded as to keep you on your toes due to the intricate nature of the power system and how vast it expands. The backbone of these power systems heavily rely on the logical approach to combat. Figuring out your opponent's ability as well as the strengths and weaknesses within is the formula that allows these battles to never get old, something that I feel Undead Unlocked does really well. This manga is one of the recent wildcard series to hit Shonen Jump yet. It has some questionable things in the beginning beginning, but down the line, you come into one of the most tragic and extremely consistent shonen stories. In this world, certain people are toyed with by God as they are given negator abilities which tend to bring about a certain tragedy in their lives. These abilities follow the rules of negation, hence the unprefix in the title. Undead, for example, is unable to die, and unluck means that you inflict a chain of unlucky to deadly events on those around you. The journey is with our duo of Undead Unlocked tagging alongside a ragtag team of negators as they stride towards defeating God and freeing themselves from this sick game. This is for sure a brutal series with the stakes being consistently present and followed through with almost every arc that comes to mind. A strong point of course being the negation abilities, how they work and can be used in synergy with one another, and the insane fights that take place throughout the story. I think one of the biggest challenges for the upcoming anime will be living up to the chaos, because when these fights get crazy, the art tends to level up as well. However, I think this anime will be in good hands, as not only is David Productions animating this series, but I have learned that the previous staff from Fire Force came to work on this anime, which is already a great sign given just how elevated Fire Force's source material came out to be. This anime is one that not only do you have to keep your eyes on, but I personally extend that invitation for you to do so as well. Out of all the new gen series thus far, this has been my favorite one yet, and I hope you all will tag alongside to see what this journey may turn out to be. Now last but not least, even though we don't currently have a trailer, we do know that the Yozakura Family anime is in production and is scheduled for 2024. The key visual definitely had some opinions come out, in which I think I'm going to do what I do best and simply wait. I have a lot of expectations for this series given the obvious reasons, and while I know that Studio Silverlink may not have a strong record when it comes to animating shonen, this could end up being the surprising breakthrough for their studio. It's fine to want the anime to go into the hands of a studio that you know has long-term shonen anime experience, but if there is one thing I learned from last year, is that anything is possible. At the very least, the fact that the studio is getting a year to prepare is a good sign, and hopefully it will be more than worth it. For the time being, these upcoming anime are for sure going to make its rounds within the community, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Not to mention, there are still plenty of other series that still need to get adaptations, such as Don the Don and Sakamoto Days, which are both going to really leave a good impression. That's pretty much it for me though. As always, thank you for watching, and make sure to let me know which current new gen manga are you excited to see be animated in the comment section down below. Stay warm out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video.